Hello, everyone. This is Brother Benson, and I'm joined with Makobura. Makobura, how are you doing?
Good evening. I'm doing good.
Uh,
Nashukuru niko salama salmini.
uh,
Leo hii tunapambana, tuna hali ya maisha kama kawaida.
unajua ni muhimu watu kupambana na hali ya maisha, kwa sababu usipopambana na hali ya maisha, saa zingine unaweza pata kwamba kukula haitakuwa rahisi vile, auta pia kutatua mahitaji ambayo labda we mwenyewe kama unataka, kwa sababu unapata kwamba mara mingi mahitaji zetu asilimia kubwa zinatatuliwa na pesa, na lazima upambane ili upate hiyo fedha ili utatue hayo maneno, so lazima upambane. Miguda, habari gani?
Mimi niko swadakta upande wangu.
Yeah.
Tu hali ya maisha vile nasikia mkiongea mambo ya hela, fedha, riziki.
Yeah.
Hiyo ni ukweli ya kwamba katika maisha ili endelee vizuri lazima ikuwe na kitu tunaita the support system. Na ile support system kubwa ya maisha ni seme tu ni hela ama riziki. Sasa wakati unapata watu wanapambana na riziki kutafuta hela, hela ni kitu muhimu sana, na riziki ambayo inafanya maisha inasonga kwa njia ya upesi na pia kwa njia ya kasi. Sasa hapo nakubaliana nyinyi 100%.
Okay. Asante sana. Na umesema mambo ya riziki. Riziki ni pia ni kutafuta hela ama kutafuta riziki?
Riziki ni unatafuta hela wakati unatafuta riziki. Ni naweza sema tu reward ya riziki. Ni pesa. Yeah.
Okay. Safi sana. Mi sina mengi la kusema leo hii. Ya leo tumekuja tukichelewa kwa sababu majukumu pia. Sasa hapo tena unasema kwamba unapata kuna majukumu ambao zinatukuta kwa hali tu za kawaida. Unapata kwamba sasa saa zingine huwezi pata nafasi kufanya jambo kama hili, lakini tumepata bahati ya kukuja na pia na jukumu pia kuna saa zingine muda. Unajua muda pia saa zingine unapata kwamba huwezi kosa, kwa sababu hapo awali tulikuwa tunasema mambo ya riziki ama kutafuta hela na hivyo vote. So lakini kwa njia nzuri ama kwa uzuri tumekuja leo, tupo tunataka tukuwe na mahojiano ama tukuwe na mazungumzo, si mahojiano vile. Mi nataka nisikie labda tu kauli yenu nyinyi wenyewe, kwa sababu matukio leo kulikuwa mingi sana. Ukienda pale sehemu za Kisii, ODM walikuwa wanasherekea miaka yao ya 20, ambapo kinara mkuu wa ODM Mheshimiwa Raila Amolo Odinga hakupata nafasi kuhudhuria kwa hafla hiyo. Sasa tupata kwamba hakukuwepo, lakini kuna wale wanachama wa ODM walikuwepo. Lakini jambo ambalo hatuwezi kosa kusema ama kosa kuambia wananchi kwamba kuna wakati kulikuwa na vurugu kidogo, wakati ambao Mheshimiwa Simba Arati alikuwa anaingia, kulikuwa na pale vurugu, watu wakarushiana maviti na nini na vitu kama hizo. Pia tuliona nafasi ya ule kijana ambaye alikuwa ameshinda katika nomination ya ODM, Boyd Were, pia alipatiwa nafasi akachangamka pale, kitu ambacho lazima tukubaliane kwamba ni mtu ambaye anajua kuzungumza Kiswahili vyema. So hapo naye tuseme kwamba majenzi hapo katika ODM wamepata. Vile pia Rigathi Gachagua alikuwa na kampeni yake pale Kiambu akaongea. Martha Karua vile alikuwa na kongamano ya chama chake kaongea. Kalonzo alikuwepo, Justin Muturi alikuwepo, na wale wa upinzani wengi wao walikuwepo. Asilimia nzuri ya upinzani walikuwepo. So hiyo pia ilikuwa imetokea, lakini mazungumzo yetu ya leo tunataka tu kuangalia rais aliyestaafu Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, ambaye leo pia kwa miaka mingi sana hajawahi kuwa katika jukwaa la siasa, na leo tulimuona pale akazungumza na wana Jubilee ni kama Jubilee inazaliwa upya, na amezungumzia mambo mengi ambapo tutajadili kwa sababu kisiasa mtu anaweza zungumza, lakini ukiangalia kwa undani utapata kwamba kuna mahali ambayo alikuwa analenga. Sana sana kwa mazungumzo yake mimi kwangu mimi, kwa sababu ni jambo ambalo mimi nilikuwa nafuatilia, kuna mahali alilenga rais wa saizi, Rais Ruto, hiyo ni ya kwanza. Pia kuna sehemu pia alilenga aliyekuwa naibu wa rais, Rigathi Gachagua, na pia pia ataangalia hii itakuwa aje na Matiang'i, na tuseme kwamba swala ya upinzani ambao wanataka kuwa katika umoja, hii kitaleta msuko gani ama hii inawafaidi vipi sana sana. So hayo ndio mambo ambayo labda tunataka tuzungumzie kwa saizi, na najua kuna mengi ambayo tunafaa tuzungumzie sana, lakini hebu leo tuangazie mambo ya Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta pale alihutubia wanachama wa Jubilee. Wacha mimi nianze na wewe Miguda, labda wewe maoni yako, kama ulipata nafasi kufuatilia sana kongamano ya Uhuru Kenyatta na wanachama wa Jubilee, labda kitu gani haswa wewe mwenyewe unaweza sema kwamba ilikuvutia, ama jambo ambalo haikufurahisha, ama jambo ambalo labda ulikuwa unasema kwamba hii venye alisema ilikuwa inajenga chama?
Asante sana. Kwanza ningependa kusema mimi kibinafsi nilipata nafasi ya kumsikiza aliyekuwa Rais Uhuru Kenyatta alipokuwa anazungumza na wale wanachama wa Jubilee. Unajua mpaka leo hii yeye ndio bado kiongozi wa Jubilee, juu bado hajafanya uchaguzi karibu yake chama. Unapata saizi tuko na harakati za siasa katika nchini yetu. Unapata aliyekuwa rais yeye pia ni yule mwenye aliachia Ruto uongozi, na kuna zile changamoto ambao Ruto ameziona tangu apate hiyo uongozi. Sasa unapata kuna zile vitu ambaye yeye kibinafsi, unakumbuka kwanza yeye hakuunga Ruto mkono na lenye watu wasimpigie Ruto kura. Alikuwa na yule mtu wake alimwaminia kwamba baba ndio mtu mzuri ambaye angeongoza nchi. Sasa alikuwa anajaribu tu kuwakumbusha watu ya kwamba kando na mimi kuwa kiongozi wa chama, sisi kama chama tuliamua tumuunge mkono Raila Odinga, lakini kuna zile vitu ambavyo tulikosea. Tuliambia wananchi wasifanye makosa kutoka Ruto, lakini sasa tunaona kuna zile vitu ambazo sasa zinaonekana wazi ya kwamba zile vitu ambavyo tulionya wananchi ni ukweli, ya kwamba tulisema vitu za ukweli. Sasa nataka kusisitiza watu ya kwamba wakati anapotoa uamuzi kama kiongozi, watu wanafaa wamchukue hizo uamuzi wake kwa makini sana. Yeye ni mtu ambaye ni kiongozi, na kiongozi mtu ambaye anaona mbele, na vile vile pia ni kiongozi ambaye haezi ongoza watu wao mahali pabaya. Jambo ningependa kuzungumzia ni jambo mawili. Ya kwanza, alizungumzia ya kwamba ni vizuri chama kukutana. Hata juzi umeona ODM pia walikutana, na vile vile unaona kama vyama vinakutana. Sasa hii ni ishara ya kwamba tunaelekea katika uchaguzi kama nchini. Na wakati wanaelekea katika uchaguzi, kama vyama vingi vinakutana na zinafanya uamuzi, hiyo wanaimarisha ile demokrasia. Tunasema vyama demokrasia. Wanapoimarisha demokrasia, unapata ya kwamba alizungumza vizuri, akasema mpaka sasa hivi wao kama chama cha Jubilee wako ile muungano yao ya Azimio. Unakumbuka hapo awali walikuwa na Azimio. Sasa anasema sisi kama chama hatujatoka katika Azimio, tuna msimamo yetu ni kwamba tuko katika Azimio, na yule mtu yote ambaye anajaribu kutoa chama kwa Azimio.
Okay, Miguda, tafadhali, can you please fix your audio?
Unanipata vizuri?
Your audio inakatika, sijui kama kuna mtu labda nakutafuta kwa njia ya simu inafanya sauti yako inakatika katika, sasa tukupate vizuri vile. Okay, sawa. Asante sana, tutarejea hapo kwa Miguda tujue, tueleze labda jambo ambalo labda tuseme kwamba jambo ambayo yeye alikuwa amesikiza ambao alisikia kutoka kwa Mheshimiwa Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. We Makubura, habari gani?
Niko salama, nashukuru. Yeah, I'm here. I can see our good friend Judith at the comment section.
Yeah.
She's saying hi, and we're also saying hi back. And I'm also seeing Michael Ted watching from Facebook. There's also Kura kwa Lucy. Thank you so much for
huyo Kura kwa Lucy inafaa tumtafute tuongee naye, kwa sababu naona ni kiongozi. Itabidi siku moja tukuje tumfanyie mahojiano, atuambie ako na nia gani na wananchi ambao anataka kuwasimamia, na pia pale ambao anataka kuwakilisha ni jambo gani labda ameona imekosekana ambayo inafanya yeye ataka kuwania. Sasa ananisikiza, inafaa tumtafute.
Yeah, very well. You know, more of what we focus here, I mean, more of what we focus on is a discussion, of course, that is geared towards, the betterment of our country. And all we do here is inviting all those people who have a say to give their say, because if we really don't speak about the happenings, political happenings, so the governance, the way of governance in our country, that in one way or another it affects our daily lives. So it's a good thing, and that is why as a channel we're trying to focus on giving people a chance to also come and give their take without fear. Yeah, I think that's me.
Okay. Asante sana Makubura kwa hayo. Ebu tuambie, kwa sababu labda sijui kama ulipata nafasi kufuatilia kilikuwa kinaendelea kwa kongamana, ama tunasema kwa ile hafla Jubilee walikuwa nacho, sana sana Mheshimiwa Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, ambapo alikuwa anakuja anazungumza na wanachama. Kuna baadhi ya vitu ambazo alizungumza, labda wewe kwako ni jambo gani, labda tuseme wewe ulisikiza ukasema kwamba hebu utuambie, na unaiweka aje kwa siasa ya saizi?
Okay, yeah, so I think the event itself was held, the Jubilee held a special event, a special event for the national delegates convention, the so-called NDC at Ngong Racecourse. Of course, it was chaired by the former president, who is still the party leader of Jubilee Party. And the key message that he did put across is he did criticize President Ruto's administration for fast eroding Jubilee's era gains. Remember, he said he was trying to say that they are part of those positive things that Jubilee did. And according to him, being that the president was his deputy and was part and parcel of that political party, he was thinking, or he has been thinking, that the president would have, continued with the projects that they had started as a Jubilee, because he was part and parcel. He was actually the second in command. So, according to his words, he's just surprised. He's actually just mesmerized by the fact that the projects that they had started together were never taken over by this government. And again, he did talk about the governance of the country, where in his statement he's saying that this government is being run in an experimental way. And of course, according to him, he's saying this is really hurting the economy and the governance of the Republic of Kenya. And part of what he also spoke about is the issue of unity. That according to him, he's saying that unity is one very important thing, and that he's also trying to criticize this political narrative that is being brought forth by the political class, of trying to put class, or to put the people of Kenya, the citizens of the Republic of Kenya, in different levels or in different classes. And in his statement, he did mention that whether you are raised by a single mother, whether you are a son of a hustler, whether you're a son of, wherever you're coming from, that really doesn't matter. The fact of the matter, according to him, is that we are all Kenyans. We are all in the Republic of Kenya, and we all deserve, according to his statement, we all deserve fair treatment.
Okay.
And I think part of what the people also expected, I mean, the strategic shift that we are also seeing here is in his statement, he also did mention, there was this narrative that Jubilee and these other political parties might have left Azimio, but he did say that they remain in Azimio for now. And of course, he hinted that the future leadership that is currently in charge of the Jubilee who could decide differently, opening doors for realignment. Of course, we understand that we are headed towards 2027, and we are going to see several political realignment where political parties will be coming together with a view of trying to, to consolidate and with a view of winning the 2027 general election.
Yeah.
That is, of course, part of what political parties are supposed to be doing. And then something else that I can, speak about is the former Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Okengo Matiang was present and is widely, of course, rumored to be Uhuru's preferred successor. And the people expected that at this particular NDC, he was actually going to be crowned as the successor or as the lead or as the presidential lead for Jubilee. And of course, that really didn't happen. And these are some of the things that people expected, but according to them, it's something that will be coming soon. So ours is just to wait and see. And then what really matters is, this is a strategic move. Remember, this marks Uhuru's re-entry into active politics. You remember some few years ago, he was when he participated in political activities, he was fired by close allies of the president, and they did say that quite a number of benefits that he was getting as a president were withdrawn, and that, of course, sparked a lot of debate within the country. And the question that we are still asking is, with his re-entry into active politics, does this then set the stage for a possible Matiang'i presidential bid? Of course, challenging Raila's dominance in the opposition, where Raila has always been dominant. And remember, they're still in Azimio, according to the papers and the legality of the matters. So that is something that is also coming out there that maybe we can as well focus on when speaking about the entire NDC by the Jubilee.
Okay, thank you so much. Migodak, are you in a position to at least share with us what you were just sharing and before I come in?
Okay, let me conclude before you come in. I was just saying, unapata Uhuru alisema yeye kama Uhuru Kenyatta na pati yake ya Jubilee wao bado wako kwa ile muungano ya Azimio. Ndiposa walipatana na wakazungumza kama wanachama cha Jubilee. Hiyo ni kitu ya kwanza. Kitu ya pili cha muhimu ni sema ya kwamba ati mpaka leo hii yeye ndio kiongozi, si Matiang'i. Na hapo mbele watazungumza kama chama ni vipi wataungana na watu wengine kuhakikisha kwamba participate kwa uchaguzi unakuja. Sasa anasema tu, anajaribu kusema kwamba chama cha Jubilee bado hawajaungana na wale wakina wa Munyoro. Wao wako katika Azimio na wao pia si mtu wa nje na wapanga, wanajipanga kivyao kama chama. Tukitaka kufanya uamuzi tutafanya, lakini si mtu anakuja ndo anatuamulia kwamba Matiang'i kuja hapa sisi tukulete opposition. Hapana, sisi tutaamua wakati mwafaka. Nadhani hizo ndio jambo mawili muhimu sana.
Okay, asante sana ndugu yangu Miguda. Nadhani nyinyi wote mmezungumzia yale ambao yalitokea pale, lakini mimi pia nilipata nafasi ya kufuatilia sana na nilikuwa makini kwa yale ambao rais alikuwa anasema. Vilevile sikukuwa makini sana kwa yale ambayo ilikuwa inaenda kutokea kwa Secretary General wa chama Jeremiah Kioni, kwa sababu unajua ukiangalia Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta ambaye amestaafu saa hizi ni miaka mingi sana ambayo hajawahi kuwa katika siasa katika jukwaa la siasa na kuzungumzia mambo ya siasa na chama, but ukiangalia kuna siku machache tu, ni siku ambazo zinaweza hesabika, unaweza muona labda akakuja akasema jambo moja na jambo ingine, lakini hajawahi ongea kwa muda mrefu jinsi leo alifanya. So when you look at what happened at NDC, at the Jubilee with Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, one, Uhuru Kenyatta, when he came there, and when you look at his speech, what he was trying to do, he was just trying to give the brief of what the Jubilee has done and everything that Jubilee done and how they were done, and they were very successful. He swiped at President William Ruto for dismantling those. So to start with, something that President Uhuru Muigai talked about, especially he talked about one, he talked about health sector. If you're very keen, he talked about the health sector. So when he talked about the health sector, he talked about the issues to do with Linda Mama. How he said that he put those in the system that has not worked, and he talked about dismantling those system or bringing in system that have never been tested or tried, which have failed, but in the process Kenyans have continued to suffer. So, as you know very well, when you look at the administration of President William Ruto, especially his administration, have had quite much challenges, especially when it comes to the health sector. Talking about the SHA and the SHA and NHIF, and remember the Linda Mama, whereby it was free for all women for maternity during Uhuru Kenyatta's time. So he talked about health. He mentioned something about education, whereby he was saying that during their time, the children were going to school without failure. So, he was trying to just explain to us some of the things that he did during his administration and how the administration of today haven't done those kind of like system. And, and talked about and all those projects, especially has been changed. Like he reminded Kenyans on the milestone in infrastructure. He talked about that. If you're very keen enough, he also talked about health, especially affordable health care that he talked about. If you're very keen on that, he also talked about the healthcare through initiatives. When he was talking about the healthcare, he spoke about the initiative like Linda Mama, and alongside some other life-changing products that he did, that he felt like when the new administration came in, that was undone. So that is what he talked about. Maybe if to go to the second station, the second point that also he spoke about the moves by the current administration, especially concerning especially those systems that they put in place during the Jubilee administration, and these systems were replaced with untested. I spoke about that untested experiment that has left Kenyans in distress. He was also very clear on the Jubilee stand family on the side of proven progress and the welfare of Kenyans. So that is something that also he spoke about. Another thing that also he spoke about was he also spoke about the fierce battle of his political party in the recent years. Remember what happened with Jubilee. There was that battle when the Sabina Chege quarters who took him to the courts, and they were battling for the ownership of the Jubilee. And remember, this was coming at a time when it was seen that President William Ruto was playing that so that to weaken Jubilee, whereby Sabina Chege, Kanini Kega, and all those, they went and supported President William Ruto, and they really fought for it, and they won the party back. And today also, when he was speaking, he spoke about now the party is in the safe hands. They were able to get that party to the safe hands. So that is something that he also spoke about. And he talked about going forward is to recruit new people into the organization of Jubilee. And remember also, during this time, that is when he also talked about the Gen Z. And if you look at ever since the Gen Z issue came, President Uhuru Kenyatta has been one of those leaders who has always supported the Gen Z, or have always encouraged the Gen Z to do what they did, and at some point it did not augur well with the allies of the President William Ruto. Remember, there was this time when he was on a burial and encouraged the youths to take their place, especially in matter of governance. There was also a time he was in Uganda where he talks about the youths also taking place, and continue fighting a good fight. And also he was encouraging her daughter also to join the youths, for fight for what their rights. So if you look at how President Uhuru Kenyatta was speaking, he also spoke about the current issues, especially when it comes to issues of the Jubilee. I mean, the issue of the Gen Z. If you look at it very keenly, he also encouraged young people to go for these slots so that they can change the system and be part of the system. That you have to vie for these posts. And by vying for these posts, you're going to change the system. You also encourage them to join these parties and bring in fresh ideas, to these parties. And that is what is going to change the future of the country. So those are some of the things that President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta spoke about. He also spoke about the political parties, especially talking about the hatred and the anger, whereby the bitterness in the party, and a party being for a particular region. For me, when I was listening to that, something that came into my mind that now it brings me back to the kind of the politics that Rigathi Gachagua is doing, because His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua is trying to consolidate Mount Kenya. And when he's trying to consolidate Mount Kenya, he has always, first of all, put the Mount Kenya first, and the politics of regionalism, which not only Rigathi Gachagua, but all the politicians have been doing that, because each and all these political parties that we are seeing, they have their strong bases where their party leaders usually come from. Even if you look at Jubilee, you will agree with me that even today, despite the fact that it's coming up right now, they are rebranding, but the larger percentage of his supporters are still coming from Mount Kenya. Talk of about Wiper Front, the Wiper, the ODM, the DCP, the UDA, all those political parties. He spoke about that, and like people should fill in the candidates on. He also reminded people that is this something that also we have to talk about. He also reminded people about, he warned people about the issue of Asla dynasty and all that. Then people did not listen, and now he was just reminding people that I told you this, you did not listen to me. And he was confirming now he has been vindicated, especially what he said. So he spoke of so many things that he spoke of, especially on the current political waters that we are going through right now. But something that we were expecting him to do, that even in the media, in the media also, we were speculating, which has not happened. We thought like today was the day that Matiang'i was going to be handed over the party. But I think like Matiang'i is now one of the NEC members who will be a very vital organ, especially in the Jubilee. They also put in some proposal by Jeremiah Kioni, especially to change some party organs and how they are going to work going forward. So it was kind of like a way of rebranding the party, and also it was a way of reminding people that President Uhuru Kenyatta is still around. So this is what we are going to look on the way going forward. What is going to happen in the opposition? Because like some people believe that this is one way in which the united opposition is going to be weakened. If you look at what Rigathi Gachagua is fighting for, especially to consolidate Mount Kenya, Jubilee being Uhuru Kenyatta is a Jubilee leader coming from Mount Kenya. So we are going to see, I don't know how the opposition are going to navigate this issue, but those are some of the things that I picked from Jubilee and DC. Maybe Miguda or Makobura.
Let me just go first before Makobura. You have really delved into a detailed part of it, very detailed. I just want to point out some few things on what you have said. First, you understand that actually the current Jubilee, first let me begin from what Makobura said. It was about, it was not only national delegate, but it was a special national delegate convention. Then if you look at the brand, it is no longer the Tuko Pamoja. You saw the dove, the dove on the knee. So I think already it's in the process of rebranding. And I just want to give it a different look at it from what you have said. I see a scenario whereby there is an issue whereby there's like united opposition wanted the people to get into the differences between the president and the former deputy president Rigathi Gachagua. Therefore, people like Uhuru Kenyatta have come into play to rescue the situation whereby there's no way of involving people into politics of two different people.
Yeah.
In that manner, we can decide to divide the opposition. What you have said about dividing opposition. If they were united before, and right now, Uhuru has maintained that we are Jubilee. We are here until the right time we'll make our decision. Up to now, no one can come outside our party to coerce us to do according to his will. It's like fighting the Gachagua factor, whereby Gachagua was saying, Tuko na Matiang'i, we are, so like, no, you don't have Matiang'i because Matiang'i is in Jubilee and our position is very clear. And the fact that Uhuru Kenyatta is coming out for the first time as the former president, he has been quiet, but him coming for the first time right now to be active without any interference with the state, it sounds a lot. Because remember, even if they said Jubilee was going away and even Sabina Chege was the party leader, if you look at what happened today, this is now the real Jubilee. You can feel that actually there was a national delegate convention. But even if Sabina had one, no, it cannot have any impact. So I think this is the real Jubilee, the one being headed by Uhuru Kenyatta. And they're now trying to make it look like it is not that anyone can panga us, that to let us, like, you want to panga people under what basis? And even you are the person who brought Kasongo. So you cannot panga people now because you have difference with him. You want to put everybody into your home. So like, to me, I can say it's just some people can deny, but what I'm saying is just a wise thought from Jubilee, that let us give this thing a skip, because let us retreat. And no, Uhuru said, we will consider whether we are going to broad-based government or not. But for now, this is the push of the party. I think if you look at what Uhuru is saying and Raila, they tend to speak the same language. That for now, we are here. When it comes to that time, we'll have our point, and if it work. Not that, because Gachagua has gone ahead and said, we are united, Kasongo one term. And it's like it's the person who is going to run the show. But now big boys are coming telling, no, you can't run the show. We are here. You have to notice that we are here. So they want to be noticed. And you have heard what Malala said today, that even in that Jubilee, that's a red wheelbarrow. So it's like they're saying Jubilee is affiliating with President William Ruto. I can just say from the event itself, it's very significant politically. And that's why people are saying one day in politics is like 100 years. And indeed, it can be, because already if they were banking on Matiang'i popularity in the opposition, if Matiang'i has now left, now whose popularity are they going to bank on? Those are the things that we have to look at, because we are saying, give us Matiang'i na Tembea ticket. Now in the case that there's no Matiang'i into the Gachagua camp. So I can just say this, and also he said one thing, Brother Benson, just remind you, that they are going to do massive recruitment of the party into the grassroots.
Yeah.
That's what we said. It also to me is like they're going back to Mount Kenya, and they're going to chase DCP, that even as we are here, we are in town, we are also part of Mount Kenya. So the recruitment part of it also sounds very significant politically. It's like they want also new members who are not part of the DCP or United Opposition.
Yeah,
I think that's the statement.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. When you look at it, especially what happened with the special delegation meeting that took place today, it has its benefits and it also has repercussions, especially when you're looking at opposition. You see, like people like Malala, when you hear them saying that is a red wheelbarrow, it means this is kind of like a sponsored. It's an affiliate of UDA, and especially like for Malala, the Malala, like what they fear most is about losing popularity, because let's be real and let's just agree. You will find that it will be quite much easier, especially for quite of some members who are to be very specific, in central Kenya, those who do not agree with the kind of Rigathi Gachagua kind of politics. It will be quite much easier for them to run on Jubilee as compared to DCP, because of the name of Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta and how Uhuru Kenyatta handled people. But that is something that we are going to discuss. Maybe Makobura, if you have something to add on the Jubilee, and before that also, before Makobura comes in, President also talked about the issue of single mothers, and like where you're a single mother and that's why you want to run for president. He talked about the dynasty and hustler and dynasty, and we are going to wait for the reaction, especially from the people from president side. That is tomorrow, and I tell you, they will have to rebuttal the Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta remarks of today, which president also acknowledged that time. I know watakuwa anasema hivi na hivi na hivi. So as it stands today, is that the political started. Maybe Makobura, you can add something on it. Unmute Makobura.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was saying that Jubilee Party. We've been in Kenya, and one thing that I've noted is that, especially these political vehicles that has always been used to take presidents through their political terms or through their political journey, we've always seen them do fade, especially after the presidential term is over. And similar, if you try look at what happened to Kanu, you try look at what happened to DP, try look at what happened to the coalition of NAC and so forth. So, Jubilee Party is I think President Uhuru Kenyatta is one of those presidents who left the stage while he was still young, while he still had some political influence. And that is part of the reason why Jubilee is still a discussion today. And there is a probability of it rebranding and possibly coming out stronger. Part of the reason is that, remember, the president was supported or given the opportunity, votes by the people of Mount Kenya, where Jubilee has always dominated. And again, being that the president has had problems with the former deputy president and even the former president, it is coming out that the people of Mount Kenya are calling themselves back. And in that process of calling themselves back, they're finding themselves with two houses so far. That is the DCP, that is led by Rigathi Gachagua, and also Jubilee. So there's a sense in which some some people are saying that it is better we go to a bigger house, that is Jubilee. Here we can find some refuge, because we've always known what Jubilee stood for. We've always known what the leadership of Jubilee, and that is why you're finding that there are politicians or people who still find Jubilee as a relevant political party. And of course, there are some are saying that instead of going to DCP that is led by Rigathi Gachagua, remember Rigathi Gachagua is part of those people who supported the president. And again, remember, Jubilee did not support the president. Jubilee is part of the parties that came out and told the people that the president was not going to deliver. So there's some trust that people are gaining in, there is this some sense of trust that Jubilee has gained in the Mount Kenya region. If you compare, that is why you're still seeing some active politicians still moving around Jubilee, but they're not really comfortable going to DCP, because there is that feeling that DCP is part of the problems that that the Mount Kenya are currently facing. Yes, Jubilee has a good environment. It can thrive depending on the leadership of that political party, depending on the strategies that they are going to use to ensure that they rebrand and they bring forth the people of Mount Kenya together. And not just that, remember, Dr. Mateng is also coming from the Nyanza region, and being that is coming from the Nyanza region, and what was happening today in Kisii is partly a sign that there is a possibility that Jubilee might be accepted in part of the Nyanza region, and the support base, those people who believed in the former president Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta and supported him wholeheartedly. I think that is what I can add on the Jubilee party, unless there's any other specific question. You're muted.
Is there anything that also you can share with us that you picked from the party? Maybe if you're looking at you look at the when you look at the sitting arrangement, can also significantly speak something on how they were seated, because I saw Uhuru Kenyatta was sitting there, then there was that table, then Matiang'i, then David Murathe. That one also can really give as the overview, or can really speak for us that what is happening, even though Matiang'i did not speak, or he was not endorsed as the leader of the Jubilee. But from the look of things, it can tell you the position that he will be holding in that particular party.
Yeah, I think he is going to be given the keys to speak on behalf of the Jubilee party. Mm-hmm. And possibly Murathe might be his deputy, or the current Secretary General, that is Jeremiah Kioni. Those are the possibilities that I'm seeing. And what I can say is that with that combination, I believe that it's still going to get hold of the Mount Kenya region, because remember, Jubilee is more dominant in the Mount Kenya region, contrary to how they performed in the last in 2017, where it was dominated in the Rift Valley together with the Mount Kenya. Currently, the UD has picked or taken part a majority of the Rift Valley, and Jubilee can revive itself and maintain its activeness in the Mount Kenya region, and they can also bring forth all those people. There's a group of people who followed the former president, and they believed in his politics, they believed in his leadership. And not just that, remember, towards the 2022 general election, there are those people who saw him supporting Raila Amolo Odinga. There are those people who saw him coming out to criticize and to warn the people of Kenya against electing the president. But the president managed to win. So there are those people who suppose the elections are going to be held, or suppose issues to do with selection of political parties are going to be considered, then they might think in that particular manner. that maybe he has genuine thoughts, maybe he has genuine reasons, because remember, politics of the Republic of Kenya is more of emotional driven. It is more of tribal, and those are kind of some of the reasons, the ones I've highlighted, that always influences or gives the people a reason to stick with the political party.
All right, thank you so much. Maybe Miguda, this is what Sam Atandi says immediately after the special NDC. This is what Sam Atandi wrote on his X handle. This is Honorable Sam Atandi. Uhuru Kenyatta is ranting over last election, but we have moved on. A weakling who could not manage his own succession could not campaign for his preferred candidate while holding instrument of power. Now, as you know, Atandi right now and ODM is working with the President William Ruto. When you hear such like narrative from the MPs saying that he could not manage his succession and he even could not campaign for his preferred candidate while holding instrument of power. That is what Atandi said. I think this is Senator Kiprotich Arap Cherargei. As a former member of Jubilee political party, I'm disappointed by remarks by party leader Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta by pontificating himself, yet he left a mess of a country that we're trying to fix. He left 1 ton of corruption, debt crisis of over 9 trillion, unequitable development, unequitable development in the country, monumental extrajudicial killing and enforcement disappearance, functioning CBC, and uncontrollable food insecurity. It looks like 2020 general election again. Our main opponent will be Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, replica of 2022 general election. So that is something that came from one of the members of the Senator Cherargei, talking about he's making his remarks on what Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta said. And that one for Atandi, what can you conclude about those?
That one is very simple. What I can conclude about those things, first, you understand right now the position of the people talking. The position of Atandi is the budget chair. Any attempt to dissolve broad-based government is going to threaten his chair. Is going to threaten his position. And he has a duty to defend it by all means. You understand the other time when he was talking about Orengo in the National Assembly, discussing Orengo in the National Assembly, because Orengo action or decision was threatening the dissolution of the previous government. So Atandi, we understand him, and if he could not be there, he could have not been. So it is just politics. Cherargei is speaking that way because if Cherargei means what he's saying, because right now, who is the president? William Ruto. If there were extrajudicial killings and abduction, he has that capacity to enforce an inquiry team, to inquire and also investigate Uhuru Kenyatta, because the law is very clear. You are only immune while serving as the president, but once you are out of office, you can be investigated. You can be investigated. They should investigate Uhuru Kenyatta. So that's why it's just politics. Because if they are factual, they should take actions against him. Not that they are just being said, but no one is taking action. So I can't treat them as serious things. What I know is he's threatening the two people. One, Cherargei is speaking the language of the UD people, and also Atandi is speaking the language of the experts. Because any attempt to dissolve broad-based government is going to affect the experts, people like Atandi. And the people of UDA right now, in their mind, they believe that Raila Odinga should not run. Raila Odinga should support them. But the question we are asking, where is it limitation for Raila not to run? And if they hear what Uhuru is speaking and also insisting to be in Azimio, it tends to be the same language that I speak. So it's like they're trying to say, this man is the one who is spoiling for us things here. Let us deal with him head on. And that's why Uhuru was very clear that watanijibu hivi karibuni. And tomorrow you'll see fire from the UDA camp, because Uhuru Kenyatta's statement is threatening the broad-based arrangement. And that's why people like the Alegu Songalomeka are coming out to say, Bana, you could not assist. That's how they're now trying to convince Raila. If he was the president, you could not get it. Now it's outside. How will he support you to get it? But dynamics have changed. And even Ruto was outside, but he made it inside. And so what I want to say is that we should not limit their freedom of expression, the way they have expressed themselves from the X space. And also we should not limit their position to take position, what they have taken. So the very way they have taken their position also, they should also allow Mr. President, former Uhuru Kenyatta, to express himself and take a position. And there's no way you can force everybody to vote for William Ruto, and I've said like that, because you cannot force us to support Ruto because you're the budget chair for your own benefit. You cannot support us, you cannot force us to support Ruto because you are getting tenders in his government. Each and every person has a reason to take a decision. So if you have taken a decision to support Ruto, we wish you all the best, do it. But for the people who are realigning also, allow them to participate in that democratic space. So I can just say the two statements is just a matter of interest. It's served by their interest, yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Migoda, and I know from tomorrow, I know it will be rebattling all what the president has said, especially when you look at the interest. Where are your interests right now? Because you've spoken about the Atandi, and if you remember, and that's why sometimes I usually tell that, okay, if you're somebody who wants to be a supporter of a politician, go with what Mandago said, usiweke kwa roho kwa sababu utaumia, kwa sababu it usually changes. I remember very well, especially when President Uhuru Kenyatta was supporting Raila, especially Uhuru Kenyatta was praised and loved by so many. I can remember when he was doing the port of Kisumu, where he would visit Kisumu quite much often. He was loved. And I can remember when Oburu said that what we've been missing is the system. Now we have the system. You remember that? But President William Ruto still managed to win the general election. Now, let's switch gear a little bit from NDC, because we know that Martha Karua also was having her delegates meeting. Quite a number of politicians attended, but let's go to Kisii. Something that is quite much notable, especially in Kisii, is about the absence of the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga, who was missing, especially when 20 years of ODM and ODM was being celebrated. Right Honorable Prime Minister was missing in Kisii. That is something that we saw. Also, what we saw, quite a number of members of parliament, especially from Kisii region, majority of them were missing too. Especially when you look people like Okongo Mogeni was missing. We had Kibagendi was missing. We had the good senator of Kisii was also missing. So you find that so many of them were missing. Also, there were chaos. If you saw that there were chaos, especially in the field whereby people were throwing chairs, the violence, maybe to begin with you, Miguda, why do you think the Right Honorable Prime Minister did not attend, though he has given his side of the story that it was due to unavoidable circumstances, something came up, it could have not make it to Kisii, but we saw the chaos. Why?
Raila missing in those celebration. First, he also missed at Wajir. And I think he will appear during the final stage at Mombasa. That day, the dinner day, it can be part of the part of the strategy, also camouflage politically, and also maybe he doesn't want to make a usual appearance.
Yeah.
But the issue of local leaders missing, not only Kibagendi and Senator Okongo Mogeni, even the one who usually wears specs, this one from that, there are two members of parliament who are missing. The ones who are affiliated to Kenya Moja, that Babu Wino, those ones were missing. That which begin and the other two who are affiliated with the Kenya Moja were missing. I see a scenario whereby Raila has allowed people to do whatever they want to do in ODM, because if you find out even Wajir, Kisii, there's things that they are trying to state about broad-based party position, maybe the people. So I think there's something cooking, and we are yet to find it out very soon. But it's kind of part of the camouflage or part of the strategy. Maybe we just want to find out the opinions of the people. The chaos could be led by the chaos. I think when Arati threatened that other people should look for other venues, supporters of other people could have been in the midst of ODM. That could have caused chaos.
Okay. So that one, Makobura, what is your take in the missing of the Right Honorable Prime Minister? And remember, when you look at the poster had all indicated that the Right Honorable Prime Minister was going to be there, and this one come at a time when when the Kisii, especially Abagusi community, was visiting State House, he accompanied them. But now, why was he missing on this one? And the issue of violence too that was witnessed in the crowd, especially when Simbarati entourage was coming in.
Okay, thank you. Maybe I'll first give an overview of what really happened. Of course, it was ODM's 20th anniversary that was happening in Gusii land, specifically in Gusii Stadium, that is in Kisii. Of course, there was a drama, and there was a drama, and I think this drama was partly caused by the fact that Kisii is the home. I mean, is they want to produce a presidential candidate, and remember, the same Dr. Matiang'i comes from this particular region, and remember, there's quite a number of leaders who have come out to show or to, they are signaling that they might support Dr. Matiang'i. And then there has been a conflict within ODM members within the Gusii land. And of course, that was also confirmed by the fact that all ODM MPs from Kisii County, they boycotted the event. Of course, including the senator, Richard Onyonka, who has several times he has come out to clarify and to show his to show the fact that he's planning. I mean, actually, is the one who is presenting Dr. Matiang'i, is the one who is speaking positively and advertising Dr. Matiang'i. So he is a senator elected under the ODM ticket. He was missing. And the MPs, Kibagendi, remember Kibagendi is one of those members of parliament who are within the group that is led by Sifuna and Babu Owino. And Osero was also not there. Manduku was not there. Gisairo was not there. Barongo was also not there. And those are ODM members of parliament. This is a clear signal that the governor, who is also the deputy party leader, was simply alone. And it shows that ODM within, Kisii County, not just Kisii, Gusii land, is not really stable. And if they don't come up with ways of solving the differences they have, then this is a political move. This is a political signal that they are changing. They've changed their support, and possibly they are looking for Dr. Matiang'i. Remember Kibagendi, who is part of the young parliamentaries within ODM who are having dissenting views. Yes, not once, but several times. I don't know if you remember the other time they almost fought.
Yes.
They almost fought when he was defending, of course, Fred Matiang'i. And part of the reason why they were fighting is he came out to criticize the government. He came out to criticize the president. And that did not go well with his counterpart. Yeah, so the political signal, many of these leaders are now aligning with Fred Matiang'i. That's a fact that we have to agree. And of course, suggesting a shift away from ODM's traditional stronghold in Kisii. Remember, Kisii has always been a stronghold for ODM in the many elections that we've always had, where they've always, not just Kisii Kisii County, but also in Nyamira County. They've always won the majority of the seats. So Governor Simbarati is left with a balancing act here. He attended the event, but he has been seen, of course, collaborating with the leaders within the UDA party, some the likes of Honorable Silvan Sosoro. Of course, this is also raising questions about his loyalty to the party itself. That is part of the question that has always been raised with these other members from ODM, because they're saying that if ODM is standing alone, then the governor should not be aligning with those in a different political party. So part of questions that we could be asking ourselves is why does this really matter? And what I can say is that ODM's internal unity is cracking, and let me not say it's cracking; it's already cracked, unless they find a way of mending it. And of course, Kisii, once a solid ODM zone, may be slipping away, and the possibility is Dr. Matiang'i, if he comes strong enough with the wave of opposition, together with the wave of Jubilee, he has high chances of ensuring that he convinces the people of Gusii land to support him.
But that is something that is very obvious, especially if you look at the nature of our politics, especially when one of the leaders is running for higher office coming from your region. It is always seen that you have.
It is always seen, but remember what we've always seen is the level of seriousness that the candidate is bringing forth. I can give you several examples. We've seen, for example, Dr. Uhuru sometimes coming out that he wants to go for presidency. He's never gotten that solid support from the people of Northeastern. We've always seen.
But now, when you look at the Uhuru and the numerical size of their community, you cannot compare it to this other community. So if their community could have been having that bigger numerical number, then they could have been voting for him, or they could have been following him.
I think if you take the Gusii land itself and you compare with the Turkana and the Northeastern, then the votes are almost similar. I think just Kisii County and Nyamira County, if you compare it with the Turkana County together with the Northeastern, that is the Samburu and the close counties, then it somehow, being that is coming from that particular area, would then convince the people coming from the closer counties to support him. And not just that, we even saw Professor Wajakoya the other day. He stood, of course, he is coming from the western region, a vote-rich area, but still he was not seen as some serious contender or serious presidential candidate. And of course, that did not really give him a chance to get the majority of votes from the lower land. So as much as, of course, our political are tribal based, or there's more of tribal in it, there's more of emotion in it, the candidate also has to come out and convince the people that he has the capacity. And I think so far Matiang'i is convincing the people that he has the capacity and is seen as some serious candidate. And that is why you're seeing some fear among serious political class, because they're trying to balance and see that with this our candidate, can we sell him? Can we go with him to the market? It's just like the I can compare it to if maybe you are planning to sell, unataka kuuza ng'ombe, unaona ng'ombe imekula vizuri, lakini hiyo siku umeipea maji ya sabuni ikashiba. Sasa unajua unaipeleka ukifikiria, nikipea maji mingi inaweza, it might increase the price and that kind of thing. So Matiang'i, I think he has the capacity. He has convinced the people of Kenya, not just the people from his community, but then, he's someone who is known in one way or another in the entire country based on the role that he played while he was serving as a cabinet secretary in the government of Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. And part of the reason why he's liked is because of the many hard stands that he took, and he followed up and ensured that in each and every docket that he served, he did make several changes. And that is part of the reason why he's seen. Remember, we are at a particular point in the Republic of Kenya where things are not working, things are tough, things are not working, and the only person that, according to what the ground is saying, who can fix the nation is one Fred Okengo Matiang'i, who will come with directive and say, I want this done, and he will follow up. By the way, part of the reason why we've always had problems in the Republic of Kenya is that we have leaders who give commands, and those commands, they don't follow up. They don't follow up to ensure that they were executed or not. And this is a gift that is given to few leaders. There are few leaders that if they promise something, he will not just leave. He'll not forget it. He'll always be following up with calls. Was it done? Was it done? And that is what leadership is. But to this point where an old leader will come and promise and give promises, then he leaves, he doesn't follow up. When he comes back again, he finds himself speaking about the same thing. It tells you that this is a leader who is not focused. It tells you that this is a leader who is not really interested in assisting or coming up with ways of solving the problems which are touching the people. Any leader who is serious and is focusing on solving the problems, will always, you are given a task. You have to, you have to write down that I did this. I am at this particular point. For the remaining work, I need this, and this is the formula that I should use. And I think that is what most of our leaders really lack.
When you look at President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta outlining some of the issues that or some of the challenges that he tackled, including the health sector, on how they put in systems that are working. And remember, during those days, Matiang'i was like his right-hand person, was like his deputy. Because remember, after disagreeing with President President William Ruto, Matiang'i was brought close. So do you think by President coming out to elaborate some of the issues that he did and how they've been kind of like deconstructed by the administration, is this showing that Matiang'i should start on that platform? And or is it showing that that is the reason why he decided to settle on Matiang'i, because this is somebody that I worked with, so he knows on how the system works. He can put in system in place that works and restore some of the things that we've done? Or why was he talking about the achievement that they achievement during the Jubilee time?
Brother Ben, I'd like to give you an example. And currently we are in this particular podcast. And if you hear maybe a friend who wants maybe a co-host, and let's say they are doing an advanced podcast, and then he asks you that, do you know of someone? I think the first thing that will come into your mind is the person that you always see, the person that you always work with. Because these are people that you do interact with, and you know the capabilities of the things that they can do.
True.
And in similar way, that is what I can say about the president and the former president Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, together with the former cabinet secretary Dr. Fred Okengo Matiang'i. And one thing that is clear, remember, Dr. Okengo Matiang'i was given, I don't know whether to say he was promoted. I don't really think I should use that term, because the president, there was a sitting deputy president who had all the privileges and the salary and everything. So the cabinet secretary performed well in the dockets, all the dockets that he was given. And I can tell you that part of the problems that he solved I can tell you I can say, do I say I was a what? I experienced part of the good things that were implemented by Dr. Fred Okengo Matiang'i. And, I can say that at a time when we really didn't believe that the proposals he was bringing forth were going to work, I can tell you they worked, and we didn't believe. We left that place asking ourselves if it happened really. And this is part of the things that we experience. So in one way or another is part of the implementation that he did while he was serving us in different dockets. I can say that he did them well. He did them well. And I can say our good friend Barack is here. And Barack can also confirm to you on matters of leadership. I know he's an expert in matters of leadership and political governance. He will tell you that a leader has to be somebody, somebody who comes up with a structure, and you have to follow that structure so that you don't deviate. You don't find yourself at a point where you're losing focus. And I think Matiang'i has that. He has that. I don't know that call it a gift or what, because he did demonstrate that if he focuses on something, he will ensure that he do it. And to I believe that we are having several challenges. I'm not saying Matiang'i is the best candidate or anything, but I'm just giving based on even the president himself. The people of Kenya evaluated him based on the many roles that he has always held. Remember when he was a member of parliament for Eldoret North? Remember when he was the minister for education, minister for agriculture? Remember when he was serving as the deputy president? We evaluated him, and we are Kenyans. Part of what the constitution says that it gives us that mandate to do that verification whenever we want to give someone a chance to lead us. And I think if I do an evaluation of Matiang'i, I think he can do it. That is my thought. Barack also give us his thought that.
Barack, habari gani kakangu?
Salama sana ndugu Ben na ndugu Mark. How are you?
Tuko vizuri. Leo umekuja ukichelewa. Ulikuwa na jukumu la siku ama nini kilikuwepo kakangu?
Hali imekuwa si hali. Lakini nikaona nikuje. Unajua hata kwa Biblia kuna jamaa alikuwa ameleta wafanyikazi kwa shamba. Kuna wale walikuja asubuhi, wengine wakuja mchana, wengine wakuja jioni. Alafu saa ya malipo akawalipa mshahara ambayo inatoshana. Alafu wengine wakaanza kusema imekuwaje na sisi tumeshinda kwa shamba lako? Akasema jukumu la kulipa ni langu, la kazi ni wewe. Sawa, kila mtu afanye jukumu lake.
ambapo tuseme kwamba wale ambao walikuwa wanalegea katika kazi walifaidika kwa sababu malipo ilikuwa ni ile ile. Mtu alifanya kazi kwa udhaifu, lakini kuna mtu mwenye alifanya kazi alijitahidi kufanya vizuri ili bosi aone kana ni mzuri, lakini malipo ikawa ni sawa tu
kabisa.
Unajua, umesema mambo ingine hapo inaitwa hali si hali, na inanikumbusha kitambo sana. Mwanamuziki fulani alikuwa ameimba hiyo wimbo akasema hali si hali. Na hali si hali akatoa mfano kwa wazazi wake, hana kazi lakini wazazi wanagonjeka. Yani maisha ni magumu kweli. So ukaniambia hivyo ndio maana nimeweka hali si hali. Yani hali kama kuna ile hali kwa aje ni vizuri kidogo. Lakini hali si hali inamaanisha dunia imetuweka pabaya.
Mambo
imekuwa ngumu zaidi. Pole sana na majukumu. Sasa Barack, tumekuwa hapa na mazungumzo na tulikuwa tunazungumzia tu we were just having a conversation of what happened today. I know there are quite a number of political activities that took place today, including Martha Karua also had conference delegates. We had Rigathi Gachagua was doing his campaigns in Kiambu. And we had the special NEC meeting, especially for Jubilee. And this was attended by the party leader, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, who is also a retired president. And he spoke of so many things, among others, where he gave a history, what he did in his term as a president. He also went politically, he attacked President William Ruto and also Rigathi Gachagua in his speeches, especially when you're analyzing politics, because he spoke of systems that were put in place that are now working, whereby new projects have been put in place, especially which have not been tested or tried. And this one has put majority of Kenyans into suffering because those systems are not working initially, which means he's talking about the administration of today. For you, as somebody who look at politics, this is a retired president and is now coming to explain to the public about things that he did in his tenure at this particular moment in time. What was it relevant, or was it so important during this special meeting of delegates?
Well, thank you, Brother Ben, for that. I think the retired president, he's a statesman.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a day here I was saying that, once you've served at the capacity of the president of a country and you've retired, you are not defeated. Like Mingwa Mutharika, who was defeated and he has just returned again for another term. If you've retired, it means you've served to the maximum term.
Yeah.
Now retired, and you are drawing your retired benefits from the public coffers. So it is expected that now you become a uniting figure, a unifying figure of the nation,
Mm-hmm.
and you become a mediator in case there's a crisis, the political crisis. Mm-hmm. And I think you remember when we had a crisis here, we had a retired president who came to mediate for the late Benjamin Mkapa. Mm-hmm. That is what retired presidents are expected to do. You've seen even he's being sent in other countries to mediate, like in DRC, in Congo. He was there. He went to, and when he comes home now, he become a polarizing figure. I don't think it's right to do that. Now, what Uhuru was talking about today, it was Matiang'i who was supposed to talk about those issues to make Matiang'i a relevant presidential candidate, because Uhuru is retired. So what political benefit is he getting from the speech that he's making? Yeah. I think they are doing what we call a political miscalculation, because the event was supposed to portray Matiang'i as the most preferred candidate of the Jubilee party.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe grooming him to take over the leadership of Jubilee party. But in the end, it turned out to be a political battle between Uhuru and Ruto and the rest. And remember, if you listen to his speech carefully, he hit out at Ruto and also at Gachagua. He's hitting out at Gachagua because of that Mount Kenya supremacy, where Gachagua wants to ensure that DCP is the only political party within Mount Kenya region. But Uhuru now is also fighting for the survival of Jubilee party in Mount Kenya region. So, and now hitting out at Uhuru or at Ruto, I don't think he's the most suitable person to talk about that. I think Matiang'i could have been the most ideal person to mention the things that Uhuru is mentioning, because he's preparing himself to compete against Ruto. So him mentioning the failures of the current regime would have been more beneficial to him politically as opposed to Uhuru, because Uhuru hakuna msiku atarudi tena kusimama tena. He has served the maximum terms that is required by the constitution. So he should just be out there molding or grooming another presidential candidate whom he believes maybe will be a candidate in his party and who can pull up some substantial votes. Because even if you look at the US, you see during campaign, you see that the former presidents like Obama was very actively campaigning for Joe Biden in 2020, and also he also endorsed Kamala Harris in 2024. Even though they won in 2020, in 2024 they lost. So sometimes as a retired president, you can come and give your opinion because it is your right, it is your democratic right to give opinion. But now engaging in active politics now, that is why now it's getting it wrong, because you are supposed to be a unifying factor because you are the father figure of a nation. And that's why I was arguing here some time back that even when the country is going south, people who have served like former presidents, even former vice president, they should come and try to restore order, call the president to order and try to guide him, because they've held these positions, they understand these things, and now they are elders, they are statesmen. Yeah. So as statesmen, if you go to countries which are civilized, you are just offer guidance, and sometimes you ensure that there is a state of normalcy instead of a crisis. But hii yetu yenye kila mtu anataka until hata wale wameretire wanataka, I don't think is the right thing to do as a country.
Asante Barak. Sasa wacha nikuulize hapo, kwa sababu ni hata ukiangalia katiba ambayo sisi tunayo inasema kwamba rais mwenyewe akishafanya mula wake akamaliza, amestaafu, inafaa asikue katika mambo ya siasa, akuwe ni kama yule mtu ambaye labda kama kuna mzozo anakuja kama mtu ambaye anakuja kuwarai watu wasikilizane upande ambao zinazozana, akuwe kama ni mtu ambaye analeta amani. Na kwa Kenya ni tofauti sana, ama si kwa Kenya. Na nadhani kitu ambacho kinaleta hichi ambapo kinatokea ni vyama, kwa sababu unapata kwamba mavigogo watakwamilia mavyama vyao mpaka tu, yani hakuna ile nafasi ambao wanawacha kwa vyama, kwa sababu kama bado unashikilia vyama ama unashikilia chama chako, inamaanisha kuwa wewe bado uko katika siasa. So labda ni kitu gani labda kama nchi tunaweza rekebisha hapo kwa mbali pa vyama, kwa sababu mimi naona hii kwa mtu kutengeneza chama chake na ikiwe ni chake, lakini bado anapata pesa kutoka kwa serikali ama kwa exchequer, ndio inafanya hata tuseme kama leo rais aliandaa kile kikao na akawa kama ni mtu ambaye anaongoza lile jambo. Lakini kama vyama vingekuwa ni vitu ambazo zinajisimamia hao vyenyewe, hangepata hiyo nafasi, kwa sababu wangekuwa shachagua mtu kuendesha vyama. Ni jambo gani tunaweza fanya hapa kwa vyama ndio tukue, kwa sababu tusipobadilisha haya yatakuwa yanarudiana tu.
Tuko na shida kubwa sana tukikuja hapo kwa mambo ya vyama. Kwa sababu ukiangalia historia ya Kenya hatujakuwa na nidhamu ya vyama sana. Hatujakuwa na hiyo historia ya nidhamu kwa vyama. Tumekuwa ni watu ambao wanaunda vyama kwa sababu ya nia ya kuingia kwenye serikali, na tukishaingia tunaharibu hiyo chama, tunatengeneza ingine, tunaendelea, yani it's like a snake, inazidi kubadilika, ni kama chameleon. Ni kama hiyo chameleon. So ukijaribu kulinganisha Kenya na Tanzania ama Kenya na Afrika Kusini, nidhamu ya vyama, kwa sababu kule Afrika Kusini unakumbuka kuna wakati wameshafukuza rais mara mbili. Walifukuza Thabo Mbeki kama jamaa muhula wake, wakamfukuza kama kiongozi wa chama, na kumbuka alikuwa rais, chama ikamfukuza kazi. Alafu Jacob Zuma pia wakati wake pia ilifika, kumbuka yeye alifanya Mbeki akafukuzwa pia, yeye akakuja akafukuzwa na hiyo chama chake. So inakuonyesha kwamba kule Afrika Kusini vyama ziko na nguvu zaidi, ya hata hapa jirani yetu hawa Tanzania ambao tunawakejeli kila siku, vyama kule Tanzania viko na nidhamu ya hali ya juu sana. Kwa sababu ukiangalia Chama cha Mapinduzi iko na nidhamu na iko na udhabiti ambayo hata ndio ukue wewe ndio mgombea wa urais. Chama ikiamua ndio mgombea wa rais, inakuwa imekupatia hiyo fursa, na unapata ya kwamba chama inasimama na wewe, na ukistaafu umestaafu. Ndio maana unaona kule kulikuwa na marais wa staafu hapo nyuma. Saizi kuna Jakaya Kikwete, Kuna ule Hassan Mwinyi bado. So unapata ukistaafu unapewa heshima yako na uwezi pata bado unakuja kuingilia mambo ya siasa. So hapa Kenya kwetu unapata kwamba viongozi wa kisiasa wamnahakikisha kwamba vyama havina structures za kuzisimamisha. Ni vyama ni watu. Unapata kwamba kiongozi wa chama akitoka aende chama ingine, anahama na watu wanamfuata kule. Angalia hata kwa mfano kwa rais wa sasa. Rais wa sasa alikuwa katibu mkuu wa KANU. Akajiuzulu akaingia ODM. Watu wake wakamfuata kule. Akakaa ODM, wakati ule alitoka ODM akaunda URP, watu wake wakamfuata kwa ule wakaenda URP. Wakati ule waliingia Jubilee, watu wake wakamfuata wakaingia Jubilee. Wakati ule alitoka akaingia UDA, watu wakamfuata
wakamfuata.
Kama si hazina, there are no institutions. Yani parties ni about individual. Hata ukiangalia safari ya aliyekuwa waziri mkuu Raila Odinga. Kutoka kule alianzia kule Ford Kenya, akaingia NDP, akaingia KANU, akaingia mara ODM. Sasa ODM sasa ndio amejaribu sana kukaa sasa miaka 20. So unapata kwamba hata angalia sasa huyu mdogo wa Rigathi Gachagua anaitwa Cleophas Malala. Alianzia chama gani? Akaenda na kila saa akienda kwa hiyo chama yani anajisahau. Anakuwa ni kama yeye sasa ndio anakuwa kibaraka wa hiyo chama. Sasa hii siasa ambayo tunafanya hapa Kenya ni siasa ambayo haiwezi leta ustabili, haiwezi leta udhabiti katika vyama vyetu. We need to strengthen our political institutions kwa sababu we cannot nurture our democracy, we cannot grow our democracy if we have weak political institutions. Political parties are the backbones of democracy. If you look at the mature democracies like the US, like the United Kingdom, they have very strong political parties, very strong, with clear structures. You cannot find that you are jumping ship from this party to another party. You start now behaving like a lunatic who does not even understand where they're coming from and where they're heading to. So I think it is the foundations that was laid in this by this thing called multi-party democracy is what destroyed everything in this country, because apart from Moi, who retired as the president and retired as the party leader of KANU and handed over the mantle to Uhuru Kenyatta. Has ever done that. And because KANU had some structures until it was kicked out of power in 2002. KANU had some structures. He had some leadership and they had some kind of discipline until they were kicked out of power. But now, since then, we have never had a political party with clear structures where we've seen a leader retiring and handing over the mantle to another person. All the parties we have ni party leader, na party leader ndio chama, na chama ni party leader. Na hata unasikia wa members wakisema, hata leo wamekuwa kule wakisherehekea miaka 20. Umesikia wakisema, baba akisema ni left, akisema ni right, hakuna kupinga. So are we building political parties?
Unajua Bara, kabla sijaleta Makubura, unajua ni jambo ambalo labda ni huwa saa zingine nakaa chini na kuwaza kwamba kuna siku ambacho tutapata mabadiliko katika mfumo zetu za kisiasa sana. Ukikaa chini na ukasikiza wale ambao tumewapatia viongozi wakizungumzia juu ya chama chao, umetoa mfano mzuri. Leo ODM walikuwa wanasherehekea miaka 20 katika tangu ianze 205 mpaka leo, lakini jambo ambalo lilinishangaza sana, before hiyo nilisikia Gladys Wanga akizungumza. Na Baraka, unajua saa zingine mimi najiuliza inasaidia mwananchi aje? Kwa sababu nilikuwa nasikia akizungumza na mtu mkuu alikuwa anazungumza kwa Kijaluo kwamba kuna wakati alienda kutembelea Opiyo Wandayi. Akaambia Opiyo Wandayi kwamba wewe sasa usiseme venye tumeingia hapa, usiseme mambo ya Kiswahili na Kizungu, na vile vile alisema hivyo wakati alikuwa ametembelea Waziri Mbadi. Akasema akaangalia kwa ukuta, akaona ni kwamba picha ya kwanza kuona kutoka Nyanza ilikuwa Mbadi. Akasema bwana, sasa wewe hakuna kuongea Kizungu, tupa Kijaluo na kuna. Alafu swali langu lilikuja, je, haya yote ambao unasema wewe kiongozi, ina manufaa gani kwa wananchi ambao unawalinda? Inaleta manufaa gani kwa wale ambao unaongoza? Kwa sababu kama hao kukua katika hizo nyadhifa ambao walipatiwa na Rais William Ruto, kwa kweli kama zinaweza leta mabadiliko, ni takriban miaka moja tangu hao watu waingie katika ama wapatiwe hizo nyadhifa. Kuna mabadiliko ambao watu ambao unaongoza wameona. Ukiangalia tunasema kwamba kwa mabadiliko, ukiangalia katika idadi ya watu ambao labda wamepata kazi kwa eneo ambao unaongoza, tuseme kwamba wale sekta ya watu binafsi, kuna makampani ambao wameleta eneo hili ambao imewezesha kupatiana mavijana kazi. Kwa sababu tusiongee tu kwa sababu labda tupo ndani na we ni kiongozi ukisema mambo kama hayo, lakini maisha ya wananchi ambao unawaongoza haibadiliki. Kama hizo picha ambazo ziko hapo ndani umeziona mkaongea katika lugha yenye ambao labda unaona ilikuwa inawafurahisha na imeleta mabadiliko kwa wale watu ambao unaongoza, ni sawa. Lakini kuna mabadiliko ambayo imeleta. Hiyo ni kauli yangu ya kwanza. Kauli ya pili, ukiangalia katika sehemu ambao kwa ile tukio ama kwa ile hafla ambao walikuwepo, asilimia ya mazungumzo yao hayakukuwa vitu ambazo labda wanataka kufanyia wananchi, lakini sifa zote walikuwa wanampatia Mheshimiwa Raila Amolo Odinga, ambapo amefanya kazi mzuri, hatuwezi kataa. Ikapika mahali akasema kwamba hata kuna ile shule ambayo itatengenezwa ili watu waende wajifunze kwa mambo ya uongozi, ambapo jina lake litakuwa inaitwa Raila Amolo Odinga. Wewe unaona kuna mabadiliko ukipata kama kiongozi anaongea mambo kama hayo, ama ile tu unakuwa mpambe kwa lugha, yani kwa lugha rasmi mpambe. Wewe ni mpambe, wewe si kiongozi.
Aswa umesema umegonga ndipo. Hao ni wapambe wa viongozi wala sio viongozi, kwa sababu ukisikia vile ambayo anaongea, matamshi ambayo anatoa mbele ya umma na ile lugha ambayo anatumia inaonyesha kwamba ni kiongozi ambayo haelewi jukumu la uongozi, na kitu kingine ni kwamba yeye kuwa gavana wa gatuzi lake lina watu ambao sio wote ambao wanazungumza lugha yake, na unapoongea ni kama mpaka unakaa ni kama wewe ni mkabila. Sidhani kama ni jambo ambayo nitakuvutia. Na haya ndio mambo ambayo kila siku tunakashifu Gachagua, lakini viongozi wengine pia wanafanya yale ambayo Gachagua anafanya. Sasa unakuja watu wanakuja wanasema Wakenya wote basi ni wakabila, basi tukubali ya kwamba hata Gachagua ako sawa, kwa sababu kama unakashifu huyu na huyu mwingine anafanya yale ambayo yule alikuwa anafanya, inaonyesha kwamba tumepoteza mwelekeo kama nchi, kwa sababu viongozi wetu ambao tunasifu wanafanya mambo ambayo ni kinyume hata cha katiba, kwa sababu katiba hairuhusu mambo kama haya. Lakini unapata kwamba na sisi raia huwa anasema kwamba saa zingine mimi silaumu wanasiasa, huwa nalaumu sisi wenyewe, kwa sababu unapata anaposema hivyo tunamshangilia, tunapiga makofi na tunasema bas sasa hapo ndio wewe tuko na wewe. Lakini yule ambaye atakuja na tuambie mambo ambayo ni ya kistaarabu, mambo ambayo ni ya kuleta maendeleo, tunasema huyu hapana. Tunataka watu ambao wako na fitina, watu ambao wako na ukabila, watu ambao wanatuambia mambo ambayo hayatusaidii, lakini tunawashangilia. So unapata pia sisi raia ikifika mahali ambayo tukisikia kiongozi akiongea mambo kama hayo, tunamkashifu na tunamwambia wewe toa, nyamaza, anyang'anywe hiyo kipaza sauti. Ikifika wakati ambao tunaweza fanya hivyo, ndio tutaweza kubadilisha hawa viongozi waweze kuwa viongozi wa staarabu. Lakini kama tutazidi kuwashangilia wanapoongea hiyo upuzi, na tunaona kama hao ndio mashujaa wetu, basi hata sisi kama jamii tumepotoka. Tumepotoka kabisa.
Okay, asante sana. Wema Kubura, labda tu nikuulize tu swali. Unadhani kuna wale ambao labda wamepatiwa kibali ya kuzungumzia mambo ambayo kinaonekana ni ya ukabila, lakini hao wakiongea ni sawa na wengine wakizungumza si sawa? Ni kwamba wamepatiwa kibali ama wamejipatia hao kibali hao wenyewe?
Wamepatiwa kibali Hey, mmeraise standards. Kwanza Barak anazungumza Kiswahili sanifu. Nyinyi mmeamua mzungumze Kiswahili sanifu. Sasa mimi nitafanya aje? Wamejipatia nini? Kibali. Wamejipatia kibali.
Naona dada yetu Ana kwa na sisi hapa. Ana, umepotelea wapi? Asante sana kuungana na sisi.
Wamejipatia kibali. Does that mean that
umeruhusiwa ama umepatiwa cheti ya kuzungumza? Wewe uko sawa kwamba umepatiwa? Wewe umepatiwa?
Okay. So that means that these leaders they think that they're entitled. I think is that okay. I think as a people, as a citizen, I think we've also not been firm enough on our leaders. So they've taken that advantage to an extent that, I think the citizens of the Republic of Kenya has set the bar too low. So the political class are ni kama wako kivyao. Wanaamua, hata and that is why, if you remember, part of the reason why the Gen Zs or the young people or the people of Kenya went for demonstration is because they were trying to, that was the reasoning, that why is it that we have laws, we have constitution, there's a way, the constitution is very clear. It gives a structured way on how things should be done. But then you see the political class are waking up and they do things without following, the constitution, without following the law. And so that form of coming out to protest, it was just a way of instilling or reminding the political class that, yes, as much as you guys think you can do what you think, but again, you have to know that we, the citizens, are watching. We, the citizens, we know what the law says. We, the citizens, are not quiet. We are here. And if you continue with the same behavior, we can call you back. And that was a good sign. Unfortunately, the political class didn't take it serious. And more of what were raised, it's, ni kama, that, that what? I don't even know how to put it. That force or that pressure didn't get into their minds. So bado wanajiambia watu hawana mamlaka, ni sisi ndio tuko na mamlaka. We have the power, so we can do what we want. Unfortunately, if they don't really consider the citizens, because the citizens are the masses, then it might boil again, and this time around it might burst, not with the same force that it did last time, but even with more force. So I think this is a political, this is a wake-up call to the political class that, remember, they're dealing with professionals. In Kenya, we have professionals, we have people who are learned in different fields, we have all kind of people, and they need to know that there are options. They're not just the only options. We have people who can do it better. So if they're not going to do it better, mimi hapa mkinipea uongozi, mimi hapa naweza sukuma gari vizuri kabisa. Sasa kidogo, I think we need to focus. As a people. The political class has to focus, and more of what they need to do is considering the fact that there are so many challenges that people are going through. There are so many problems that are there, and solving the problem is part of what the society is calling out for. So kujichukulia ya kwamba wamepewa kibali, mimi kwangu naona wanafaa waiangalie na wajiambie ya kwamba, wajiweke. Let them put themselves in the shoes of the people. Let them put themselves in the shoes of, those people who are having problems in the Republic of Kenya. And they have to reason and think that if suppose I was in this particular state, how would it be for somebody who is ruling or is somebody who is in power. Because all these things, we've been in this republic. Moi didn't stay in power for long. At long last, he came and went. Remember, Kibaki came and went. Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta was very powerful the other day, he came and went. Remember Fred Okengo Matiang'i, a very powerful cabinet secretary. He was being seen as the deputy president. He came and went. And that is a sign that we could be given an opportunity today. And if we don't use that opportunity to change the lives of the people, then we might have problems in the future. And maybe a good example is, you see, for example, today Fred Okengo Matiang'i is being mentioned. And part of the reason why it's being mentioned is because of maybe the influence or the opportunity that he was given and what he did with the opportunity. There are those people who think that he used the opportunity on the right way, and that is why they are fighting for him. And again, there are those people who believes that he didn't do it the right way. So based on what you do today, that might help in future. The decisions you make today might influence your future in one way or another, and it's really important. And one thing I know with leadership, the problems you solve today, the challenges you solve today, the families and the growth that you bring in the community, even if you are not rewarded as an individual, it will be rewarded to your generations.
Okay, thank you so much Mr. Marco Bura. And aona Ani anakuambia ukitaka kuenda kugrab uongozi wapi tukupeleke MC Bura. Anakujaribu kukupeleka. Okay, gentlemen, I think we've done so much, and Mr. Barak, though you came late, we had already had a discussion, and tomorrow morning we will be having another discussion, especially we will be doing a recap of what happened during the week. That will be on Saturday morning. So I will be hosting here, and I'll be joined by Mzalendo, and anyone else can join. Mzalendo and Joseph will be here with me for Saturday morning panelist. So if you find time, Annie, you can come and join us also Saturday morning. We will be here doing the recap of the week. Mr. Barak, maybe your last remark, if you look at the moment of today, do you feel that Matiang'i did not take advantage of the moment, or he was denied an opportunity to showcase his prowess, especially as somebody who is seen as a presidential candidate?
I think he did not take advantage of the moment, because I think Uhuru Kenyatta is the one who spoke last.
Yeah,
because he's the party leader. So anybody who spoke before him did not take advantage of the moment, especially Matiang'i, because he was, Matiang'i was the man of the moment today. And I think he wasted his chance to demonstrate his capacity as a potential presidential candidate. And I think also Jubilee did not really hype him and give him a platform to talk to the people, to talk to Kenyans, and just to sell himself, because the focus was now, Uhuru stole the show.
Yeah.
And since Uhuru stole the show, then now the conversation now is what Uhuru said. But it could have been what Matiang'i said, because the focus should have been on Matiang'i, because he's the one who they want to front as the most preferred candidate to face William Ruto in 2027. So I don't know if they will have another chance to try to rectify that, because in politics, you capture the moment, and you take the advantage. You take advantage of that, and you run away with it. But if you miss out, getting such a moment might take time. And one day in Kenyan politics is very, very long, very long. And if you mess up on only one day, can mess you up. So I think maybe they are planning another thing, but so far I don't think that he has not come out clearly, even though some people believe in him. Some people believe that he's the one who can really transform. sometimes I have a problem with Kenyans because we say we want a transformation leader, but when that leader comes and they start transforming the system, we start now crying again and say, no, you don't have to do that. Because our systems are rotten. Our systems are rotten to the core. And if you look at the education system, look at the health system, look at the public transport, look at even just the culture of Kenyans as a whole, we have a problem. Yeah, even if you look at how we perceive governance issues, we have a problem. So if we get a transformational leader, because Matiang'i, how he bulldozed you remember when Kenya was supposed to migrate from analog to digital? Remember how Nation Media, KT, and Standard Group and Royal Media went to court to stop that. And he told them, my friend, we are migrating. And he gave a deadline. And when that deadline was due, Kenya migrated, even with these guys who were camping in court. And they had now to migrate slowly because there was no turning back. And when he went to education, he did the same thing. Yeah. Transforming Kenyan education was rotten, especially the secondary education was rotten. Matiang'i tried to bring some sanity into it, and I know, even though many people are crying that since 2016 many people are not going to the university, but we have also children of the peasants who are saying, I went to the university courtesy of Matiang'i. Yeah?
Yes.
When he leveled the playing ground, those who are being disadvantaged because they come from humble backgrounds, they were now going to university direct. Yeah. At a certain when the Alliance, people were going to university from day school. Day scholars from the villages went to the university, courtesy of Matiang'i. So at least he has a track record of being a transformational leader, a leader who can come and transform things that are not working and maybe make them work. So I hope that if the way some people believe in him, if he gets that time, that opportunity, I pray that Kenyans will give him a chance, will support him, and they will not sabotage him, because Kenyans are very good saboteurs. They will support you, but once you get that opportunity, they are the people who now start puncturing your journey and making you look as a very bad, dangerous human being. So that is my perspective.
Okay, thank you so much. And maybe Makobura will close down. Barack, my fear is, especially if United Opposition can come and form the next government, my fear is the presidential institution will be very weak presidential institution, and that is my fear.
I've not really understood what you're saying. Presidential will be very weak, as in?
Yeah, in terms of the presidency. The presidency, leave about the office of the presidency, but the person occupying that office, it will be a very weak person. Do you know the reason why I think so?
Yes, please.
Because let's say, like, what is going to happen is that, okay, there are so many political parties who are going to come together, either with President William Ruto as a frontrunner, is somebody who is going to defend his seat or his administration. As a frontrunner, you will have to look for coalitions that will propel you, because, like, we know that you cannot win a presidency with a single party in the country right now. And the opposition also, that is their wish, because, like, they have to come together so that they can confront one person to run for presidency. And if they win, maybe, for instance, it might be they've confronted Matiang'i, yeah? And when Matiang'i comes as a person in that office, he comes with a different political party that is quite much weaker in the parliament, in terms of members of parliament, right? So in case there's a political disagreement, he can be made weak, especially because, like, he will not have backings, because, like, these people will back out based on what their political leaders will be telling them. So that's why I'm saying that as somebody who occupies that office with this kind of arrangement that we are seeing in the political scene of coalitions, it makes that person to be very weak. That's what I think.
Oh, now I get you. I get you. I get what you are saying. That is why you hear many analysts saying that chances of Ruto retaining his seat are very high because of that kind of argument. And you know, even Jubilee, I've argued here so many times that once a party was in power and their time elapsed, in Kenya, no party has managed to return to power. That's why if you look at, since Moi retired with his can, even the parties that have been bringing presidents into power since 2002, 2007, 2020, 2013, 2020, 2017, 2022, no president has ever retained his seat using the same party that he used previously. So it is because of the dynamics of our political landscape, the way it's shifting. And normally you find that even if the president is coming into power with a very strong coalition or a very strong political party, along the way there's some disagreement and his party loses, and now he need even to bring on board other people to stabilize his government. You know what happened to Kibaki in 2005 after referendum. He had to dissolve his government, his cabinet, and he had to bring out members of the opposition to his government to bring stability to the government. And that is also what Uhuru did, where after this, having some issues with his deputy, he sensed some problems, and he had to bring on Raila so that he can help him to stabilize his government, especially in parliament. And this is also the same thing that Ruto did with ODM just the other day, when there were some problems, and now he was feeling that he might be very weak. So sometimes, even when you occupy the state house, having the majority in parliament, there must be some realignment along the way. So you know what, you must always be ready to bring some parties on board to help you stabilize your, because if you don't have numbers in parliament, my friend, you will be living on a borrowed life. Yeah, because these people can decide to kick you out anytime, and that's what they did to Reggie, because Gachagua did not have some support in parliament. That's why he's very busy building his DCP so that he can have a lifeline in parliament, because parliament is very, very key in a democracy. That is where, you know, even there's an analogy that's called the supremacy of the legislature, because parliament makes law, parliament amends law, parliament impeaches the government, the president and the executive, and parliament approves presidential appointments. Yeah, so it means if you don't have numbers in parliament, then you'll be living on a borrowed life. Parliament can decide to impeach you anytime, and that will bring instability in the country, because it has never happened in Africa that a president has been impeached. Yeah. So if that happens, obviously we will have political implications. You remember when Maraga nullified presidential election in 2017? There was some political implications until even Raila refused to go to the re-election because he knew that he was fighting a losing battle. So some decisions might bring political instability in a country to an extent that we will just need sober leadership to restore normalcy in the country.
All right, Barack, thank you so much. And Annie, I agree with you on this, especially the two issues that you've raised that are quite much critical. After Gachagua was impeached, hakuna security of tenure. It is indeed true, and that has always been my worry, especially with somebody who's coming as to inherit. Even Ruto himself, even if he will be defending his seat, he might win. If he might win, but now the challenge would be he might win with less member of parliament. We might have the majority of independent candidates and all that. So, and one of them might just decide to bring impeachment motion against the president, and they will only bring like 4 accusations that you're accusing president of. Then one of them will be confirmed and you stand impeached. So that's where I say that, okay, somebody who's coming for presidency should also look into that. Don't just rush and go there. So then another thing that Annie said, which is it seems most elective seats will be won by independent candidates in 2027. It is true. And one reason that why is I might agree with your opinion is this: the way the political party owners usually handle nomination this one will make the majority of people try to go independent. Because remember, for instance, Barack, we're just talking about the nomination that took place, especially for ODM, where somebody paid 250,000. I think that is for the nomination for members of parliament. And you're paying this, but at the end of the day, you find that there's a favorite for party. In that scenario, what do you do? So that one will make majority of people not to vie through these bigger political parties, but to try their chances by going independent, because that 250, all that amount that you are paying to register for that political party, you can use it for your campaign and your campaign merchandise. So that is true. Sema ati mtu asiogope kuingia peke yake kwa hizi elective seats. Okay, Ari, thank you so much. Makubura, maybe your last remark, then we can say goodbye to see each other tomorrow.
Before Makubura comes in, let me just mention something about, nomination is the biggest scam that has been happening in this country.
Yeah.
Because that is where political parties make a lot of money during nomination. Because you will find that in one seat, for example, Kasipul, where we're having a by-election, we'll find that 10 aspirants have paid ODM for nomination. Then ODM, the owners of the party, have their own political, their own aspirant. Yeah. So you find that 9 people are just throwing their money into the lake, and it's just like that. And that is why you see these people are holding on to these parties, and they are trying to demarcate that this party belongs to this region, because they want to make that party very popular in that region, so that people aspirants will be scrambling to pay nomination fees. That is what Regathi is doing in Mount Kenya region. That is why Kalonzo is doing that in Ukambani, Raila in Luo, and all these places. And you see that people are saying that tuungane tukue na chama yetu. It is because during nomination, they will reap. It will be their harvest season. Yeah, and if they manage to get few numbers in parliament, then they also earn money from allocation of the political party. So wanakula huku kwa nomination na wanakula huku kwa allocation. So it is really good business, and that's why you see we cannot grow our political party because of the greed and the foundation that they are built upon.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Okay, thank you so much, Makubura. Maybe your last remarks.
My last remarks, I like what Barack has pointed out, and the only thing that I've always asked myself is whether we are learning, because these are things that we do see like on a daily basis, and it's so unfortunate that it is the citizen, even the money that the political parties get. It's part of what we, the people of Kenya, it is our money. It is the money of the people of Kenya. So it's so unfortunate that sometimes we just sit down and we don't speak about these issues, and that is why I like platforms similar to the one that we are having here today, because it's a platform where we talk about sense, we talk about the truth, we talk about governance, we talk about politics. And when we speak about these things, we enlighten 1 or 2 people. We give hope to the people of Kenya, and especially those who think or believe that there's nothing, we can't fix it. When you speak about it, someone gets to understand, that governance is not some rocket science. These are things that you interact with on a daily basis. And remember, governance, you are leading. In matters of leadership, you are leading human beings. These human beings are people who have sense, humor, and all those kind of things. So they have to be treated with a lot of respect.
Okay.
And human beings has to be respected. There has to be given an opportunity or an environment that is conducive for them to prosper and to live. Because if they're not, then the society would not be one that is watu hawezi kaa kwa an environment where there's chaos, there's drama. So it is us to fix it. It is us to talk about it. It is upon the political leaders. It is upon the leaders. It is upon the people of Kenya to understand that the environment where we live, it is us. You know, similarly, hapa kwako ama kwetu ama mahali unakaa, wanasema usiposimama utoe uchafu, hakuna mtu atakuja kukutolea uchafu. Usiposimama ukatengeneza moja mbili, hakuna mtu atakuja kukutengenezea. So the same way that in the environment where we live, the way we keep the environment, the way we keep things around us, it is, you know, it is, I think it's similar thing.
Yeah.
Has to be known that way. That is my take.
Okay, thank you so much, Makobura. Thank you so much, Annie, again, for interacting with us on the comment section. We really, really appreciate your presence, and we really, really appreciate your support always at Brother Benson. And as we close the podcast right now, I want to wish you well, and I'll see you tomorrow. And to Barack also, thank you so much for showing up. And tomorrow, I said, we'll be having Joseph Mzalendo. We will be doing the morning recap for at least 1 hour. That is Saturday morning. So if you find time also, you can join us. And if you're new here in Brother Benson Media, you are always welcome to be part of the family by just subscribing to our YouTube channel. I think from next month, we will be bringing a new segment, the entertainment segment, that I will be doing, hopefully, if things go as we plan. So we want to broaden up. We want to bring even entertainment sector. We want to talk about all these celebrities and what contribution are they making, especially in the leadership of the country. Or with them, they just want to be in the celebrity world. They don't care who is in the leadership, you know. And we want also to know their perspective on what do they see that could be changed, especially when it comes to the things to do with internet realities. How do they get their money, you know? So we will have a conversation with them. With those few remarks, Mr. Makobura and Barack, thank you so much. And Annie too, thank you so much for keeping us company and comment and sharing your views. We really, really appreciate. Once again, may God bless you all. I see you tomorrow morning.